Good day to you.
I apologize. Sholem.
Doors and windows shut.
God be with you.
Sholem, are you lost? Or what would a goy want here?
What do you think Goy means?
It means you do not belong here.
It means nation in Hebrew. So you're just as much a Goy as I am.
Good one. A goy lecturing a Jew on Hebrew. All right. But I suggest you do not repeat it around these parts. Not everyone is as tolerant as I. So, what do you want?
I'm looking for someone called Samuel.
What do you want with him?
Is that you?
There are many Samuels here. And if I'm not good enough for you, I'm afraid nobody else will talk to you.
All right. I'm looking for John of Liechtenstein. I heard you, or this Samuel, might know something about him.
I'm sure Samuel knows a lot. But I do not see why he should tell you.
Because I know a lot as well? Me and Samuel can exchange interesting information.
Why do you think you can tell me anything I need to know? I already know more than I want to.
You're the first person I've met who complains about knowing more than everyone else.
It is not pleasant to know things you can do nothing about. So what I need is someone who prefers action to talk.
All right. What do you suggest?
An exchange. Something in return. I have this one problem none of my people can fix. You probably know that my people face outbreaks of hatred from time to time. A house is plundered, people beaten up, sometimes murdered. Usually it is started by some scum spreading rumors that we eat Christian babies or poison wells. They always find some excuse.
I've never heard anything like that before.
You must be deaf then. In any case, that is how it is. I have heard that such people are meeting in an old abandoned house by the wall in the mining district. I need someone to get among them, find out what they are planning, and warn us in good time.
Won't they be suspicious?
Why? Their kind usually are not too bright. You just have to curse the Jews and say you want to join them. Do not worry. They will not check if you are circumcised.
All right. I'll do it. And then you'll tell me all about Liechtenstein.
Agreed. They usually meet at the start of the day.
At the start of the day according to my calendar or yours?
I see you're in the know. At the start of my day, so when the first 3 stars come out.
Right. So they meet after sunset. The miners' district, an abandoned house with a small yard by the ramparts.
That's right. I reckon you can still catch up with them there today, if you get them to let you join them. Try and find out what they're planning, and then come and see me, and you'll have fulfilled your side of the deal.
You'll keep your end of the deal, I hope.
Don't worry. I keep my promises. Baruch Hashem.
Greetings.
Good day to you.
Arms and not just the tools of their trade. These days, we need to rely on ourselves. The Lord's one particular.
God bless you.
May I intrude? I need some help.
What is it you need?
I'm just looking for something. This is my first time in the city, and I don't know my way around. Do you?
We'll see. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a tavern. The Emperor Charles? But I don't even know what quarter it's in. I only know the merchant quarter.
That's the Italian Quarter.
Italian quarter? That must be where the Italian court is then, is it?
Yes.
Thanks. I heard the food at that place is fantastic. Folks say their roasts fit for a king.
Really?
Well, so I've heard. I'm only in town for a quick visit, to sell my wares, and then on my way again tomorrow. But I don't have a place to stay yet. You don't happen to know anywhere in town, do you?
Well, you could try at the inn itself. Once you've eaten there, I'm sure they'll let you have a bed for the night.
That's true. I didn't know they had rooms. We might cross paths again, you never know. Thanks for the advice. Take care.
Same to you. I hope you find that tavern. Did I lose it? No. He robbed me. Hey, stop!
Wait! Stop! I give up!
Had enough. Now hand it back. Everything you stole from me.
Here. That's all of it. Can I go now?
Piss off. And don't let me see you here again.
Good day.
Hey! Hey! Open up! Open up!
Underworld, what are you doing, Moishe?
Foot's a capora, piece of junk. Never mind. We'll cut this shit down.
Shit ist zum Teufel!
Come on, then.
Wait, wait! Don't kill him!
You're gonna beg for mercy? After this?
We can make a deal. We have some of your people, we can exchange them.
Our people? What the hell are you talking about?
We caught some of them yesterday, trying to get to Liechtenstein, just like you.
No, I'm after Liechtenstein because I need to talk to him. I'm not his enemy. But if you know where he is, you better take me to him. Right now.
I have my orders. I'm not supposed to let anyone near him. Especially not someone who just beat my two best men. I'm not a fool.
Right. I'll go unarmed. If that'll convince you.
I'll trust you. But in return, you have to trust me. You can't see where we're going.
All right. But no tricks.
Those are the rules.
Wait, who is that somewhere?
We will soon find out. Let us in.
Wenches or the neighbor's daughter, any dirt you can dig up. Off you go! Oh, who have you brought now, Sam?
I'm not entirely sure. But he says he knows you, and absolutely insisted he had to talk to you.
Ah. Of course. Henry. Lord Capon of Perkstein's page. We met on my visit to Rattay. He's all right.
Lord Capon's escort. And bodyguard.
Quite. Quite. Oh, but tell me, what brings you here?
Well, that's quite a long story, sir.
Well, I've got plenty of time, and actually I enjoy long stories. You know why? Because they demand a lot of wine. Please, take a seat, and tell me everything.
If I'm not mistaken, Jobst sent you to von Berkhoff with a message. How did that go?
In a word, badly.
Oh, how's that?
I hardly know where to start. I'm lucky to be alive.
In any case, neither von Berghoff nor the League of Lords are planning to join Jobst.
Good God! I need a drink now. But did you manage to deliver the message in the end?
We did.
And? What was von Berkhoff's reaction?
That bastard first used us, and then wanted to get rid of us. We only just avoided being killed.
Sacre. So there's no chance the League of Lords will turn against Sigismund?
No chance. On the contrary, von Berghoff and von Aulitz came here to Kuttenberg to be at Sigismund's beck and call.
Christ. And what are you doing here, actually?
I came here with a man called Zizka.
Zizka? Jan Zizka of Trotsnov?
You know him?
Of course I do. Zizka is in the service of Prokop of Luxembourg, King Wenceslas's cousin.
Aye, we found that out as well. What was strange was that his band was infiltrated by Istvan Toth, if you remember.
That rat from Talmberg. What was he doing there?
It turned out he was spying for von Berghoff. But he didn't do a great job, fortunately. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
I am starting to get confused.
That makes two of us. Maybe we'll understand better if we get drunk.
You're not holding back, I see. Your health, then. After Zizka took us prisoner, it finally became clear we were on the same side, and Istvan had to flee.
So the fucker's still alive?
Not any longer.
You? Well done. Let's drink to that.
To our enemy's death.
Just when we thought we were out of the woods and Istvan was gone, he appeared outside the walls of Nabokov again, with von Berghoff and Markvart von Aulitz. Von Aulitz was on his way to Kuttenberg with reinforcements for Sigismund. And with the finger of God.
With the what?
A bombard.
Good Lord!
Have you ever seen one? I hadn't, until they used it against us.
I've heard about the bombard. An infernal weapon. Then what?
We didn't have a chance. They blew the tower to pieces and took us all prisoner. They took us to Trotsky and tortured us. But with the help of a woman who works with Zizka, we managed to escape.
Zizka. That man always has a trick or two in reserve.
Thank God. While we were making our escape, I crossed paths with Toth, and finally took my revenge for everything he did.
Dull moment with you, I see. To happy endings, then. And where is Lord Capon? Or should I call him the Prince of Poachers?
Well, the most fitting thing to call him would be hostage, because that's what he is now.
A hostage?
That's right. Von Berghoff took him with him. And that's why I'm here, in fact.
Your original plan went badly awry, I must say.
Well, it could have been worse.
That's the way of the world. For my part, I'm forced into hiding, as you've probably noticed. They're after me as if I owed taxes. Oh, if only I knew what Jobst would say.
I know exactly what he'd say as it happens.
You do?
I spoke to Jobst just after we arrived at Suchdal. He expressly forbade me to look for you, or try to rescue Capon.
That damned... Did he say why?
Aye. He said you can look after yourself. And as a nobleman, Capon has nothing to fear in captivity.
Ah, Jobst.
I must admit, I see his point. He has plans. He wants to take advantage of the truce while it lasts. And he doesn't want to provoke Sigismund into starting warring again. And he's probably right about Capon. Nobody's going to throw away the chance of a fat ransom, or waste a nice opportunity for blackmail.
It's true I can take care of myself, but the old schemer could at least have warned me, whatever his plans might be.
Zizka sees Jobst as a pain in the arse, too. I mean, he's not fond of him. And he doesn't approve of his plan.
Then I expect he and I will see eye to eye. Although I prefer a different strategy to braining all and sundry with a mace. Even so, what brings you to me? You didn't take this risk just to tell me what Jobst is like, or that I should carry on with what I'm doing.
No. My first concern is to rescue Lord Capon, whatever schemes Jobst is dreaming up.
And then...
And also, it's about your safety.
My safety?
You know, they tortured us. Zizka, Godwin and me. They asked about Jobst's plans and about you. I'd have held out, but Godwin... He told them where you were.
Where I am? In this city, you mean? That's not such a terrible betrayal. Gutenberg is a big city. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Not that they have not tried. They almost caught you a couple of times. If it were not for my people.
That's true, of course. But I'm not going to bear a grudge. The executioner always gets what he wants. And if he hadn't, we wouldn't be talking right now.
I apologize.
No need. It's not your fault. Nevertheless, let's turn the page. Capon. How do you plan to free him?
That's exactly why I came to see you.
Oh. How's that?
Because you move in certain circles.
And...
You conspire. You hear all the rumors.
So?
So you might know where they're holding him.
Sigismund confiscated the property of some burghers and noblemen in the city when they opposed him, and he divided the property up between his loyal followers. He seized Malashov Fortress from the Rutards, for instance. And didn't you say, Sam, that he gifted it to von Berkhoff?
Yes, that is so.
That was before von Berkhoff was in these parts. But if he's here now, where else would he be but in Malashov? And if von Berkhoff is there...
That's where his captive will be.
Correct. Capon is at Malashov Fortress.
Well, that's fucked then. How the hell three of us conquer a fortress, and one of us a woman?
That's a conquest I'd like to see. It would go down in history.
The history of suicidal madness.
You can't just launch an assault on Malashov. It's a strong fortress. We'll need a cunning plan.
Or long ladders and lots of men. That could be arranged, maybe.
Careful! Jobst ordered us not to stir up trouble. And this would be serious trouble. But if Capon simply vanished...
Vanished how, exactly?
I don't know yet. But like I said, Malashov belonged to the Rutards. And I'm sure they're not keen on the new tenant. I think if you pay a visit to Sir Kunslin Rutard and convince him you have common interests, he'll be happy to think up a solution with you.
Like what?
Who knows? Perhaps Lord Rutard knows of a back door into his old home, and he might not be averse to an arrangement with someone who'll help him take revenge.
Someone like you.
Well, I wouldn't get my hopes up. But it's the best we've got, and there's no harm in trying. Where can I find this Kunslin?
Sigismund seized his fortress, but, surprisingly, he let him keep his palace in the city. It's right next to the Italian court.
All right. I'll give it a go.
Once you have some news, you know where to find me. Is there anything you want to know before you go?
Come to think of it, I've no idea where we actually are.
Of course. I'd forgotten how you got here.
We're in the Jewish quarter, in the basement of the King Solomon Tavern, below my tavern. Goyim do not just wander in here. but I will tell my people you are with us.
Thanks a whole lot. All right. I'll set off now.
Good luck. It was good to see you again, Henry. And be careful. There's bound to be spies swarming around the palace. This city isn't safe.
Tell me about it. Danger is my daily bread these days.
Excuse me.
And I'm telling you, he doesn't stand a chance. Conrad wins every time. Just look at him. He can cut you in half without even pulling his sword from the scabbard. Yeah, when it comes to me, he don't give a fuck. It always seemed strange to me. He's a fucking fucker! I can't even take a piss without scratching my balls all bloody.
Henry, good morning.
Morning. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too.
What happened at Nebakov after the Praggers took the fortress?
You're asking me?
No, of course. I know you weren't there, but maybe you heard something. You know what goes on, right? I only remember that diabolical shot. Nothing after that.
That must have been really terrible. I heard the shot all the way from Troskowitz. I'm afraid all I know is when they took the fortress, von Aulitz's men hanged everyone they found there. I'm sorry, but most of ours got left behind there.
There was this healer called Clara there.
A girl of yours?
Maybe. She was really kind to me. Oh, my God.
Wait, maybe she managed to save herself? Nobody would hang a young girl like that, would they? Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Don't apologize. It's not your fault.
You have to live every day like it's going to be your last. That's all you can do in our trade.
Do you know if Michael, the adjutant, survived?
I'm afraid I do know. Zhishka said the shot killed him on the spot.
Did you know him?
Aye. He was a good man. He saved my life once.
Oh, I didn't know that. Do you want to talk about it?
Not now, thanks. Some other time, maybe.
Thank you. That's all.
I'm sorry I can't tell you more.
No, that's all right. Thanks. You said you needed some help with something. What's going on?
Something's happened. Oh, a real mess. And I need help from someone reliable.
What is it?
When I was fishing around for information about Liechtenstein, I cast the net a bit too wide. And one of the servant girls I questioned was just found dead.
You think she was killed because of you?
I don't know. If I did, I wouldn't be asking you for help.
I'll help you. Tell me all about it. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She was an ordinary, pretty girl. She worked as a maid. I heard they found her all hacked up, tossed somewhere by the town wall. Oh, folk in town are saying it was absolute slaughter. They took the body to the morgue by the St. Peter and St. Paul cemetery.
I'll go take a look at her. See if I can find anything.
I think that would be for the best. Though, I don't think it'll be a very pretty sight. You can ask the gravedigger for details. He'll know the most.
When did you last see the girl?
Around a week ago?
And did you notice anything suspicious about her?
Not at all. She was always cheerful, lively. She was looking forward to a dance. Though I'm afraid she won't be dancing ever again.
What was Alice trying to find out for you?
She always brought me the freshest gossip overheard from her master. And lately, what the other maids in town were saying.
And did you learn anything important from her? Something someone would kill her for?
That's the thing. All she brought me was gossip. Who was cheating on who wasn't going to confession, those sorts of things. So you'll have to figure out the rest for yourself.
Do you think there could be something bigger behind the murder?
I don't know. Maybe she just got caught up in something. But it's strange. Why would someone do her like that? That's the kind of thing you do when you want to send someone a message.
What about your other girls? Are they all right?
Yes, fortunately. I'm careful enough to keep them pretty much in the dark about my plans. That's why Alice's death shocked me so much.
What are you going to do next?
I'd like to ask the others if they noticed anything suspicious. If someone is following them and the like, but...
But you don't want to scare them?
I'm scared myself. For them. Maybe nobody knows about them yet. If someone was to follow me, I could give them away. And I can't risk that. I don't want anyone else to die because of me.
What if I go and see them?
They don't know you, Henry. You'd only scare them. I'll figure something out. In the meantime, find out everything you can about Alice.
I know everything I need.
Good. Go to that graveyard, talk to the gravedigger, and take a look at that poor girl's body. In the meantime, I'll try to find out more. Then we'll put it all together, and I'll be damned if we can't come up with something.
What are you blabbering about?
I heard about this one bloke.
You're always
a young
welcome.
God be with you. What would you like?
You must be the local gravedigger.
That's right. They call me František. At least them that can speak do.
I'm Henry.
Greetings, Henry. What do you need?
I hear there was a murder here recently. Some young girl?
True. She's lying in the morgue. Well, who the hell are you? Another Gawker?
Another? Why would anybody come to look at her?
People ain't got no respect. As soon as news spread about what was done to her, folk are always turning up to have a gawk. So if you ain't one of them Gawkers, you must be one of them other types. Well, no, you can't shave her. No, no thumb for a souvenir.
I don't want to take anything. I need to find something out.
Like what exactly?
Who killed her?
Why?
I'm worried something might happen to my friend.
That's true. She wasn't the first, and we can only pray that she'll be the last. It's true that Lumiere ain't shown no interest in her yet. I wouldn't expect that from him no more.
Who's this Lumiere? Another one of those gawkers and collectors?
No, no. He actually tried to help.
Help? How?
Well, he was investigating them others.
Right. You said she wasn't the first.
Aye. We had a couple of similar cases. Lumiere said they was all killed by the same murderer.
And who is this Lumiere?
He used to work for the local bailiff. I think he knew the first one what was killed, but that was a long time ago.
Do you remember how many girls were killed?
You mean you don't know nothing about it? Here, even the sparrows are squawking about it.
I haven't been in Kuttenberg very long.
I see. There's been one every few weeks for the past year.
Do you know where the last one got killed?
I heard some talk about it when they brought her here. But what do you want to do there?
Look for clues. Footprints, blood, anything.
That can help you?
That's worth a try.
I heard she was killed by the town walls, close to the Hole in the Wall, a dodgy tavern in the Hoprink neighborhood.
Thanks. What's this Lumiere got to do with this?
Well, like I told you, he used to work for the bailiff. I think he was a scribe.
A scribe keeps records in the Black Chronicle, though I've never heard of one doing his own investigations.
Well, the old bailiff wasn't all that interested in the common folk. But Lumiere, he was quite helpful. Folk heard about it and went to him with whatever was troubling them.
I'd like to speak with Lumiere. Do you know where I can find him?
At his home in Bohemia Street, that's near the church. You won't find him at the bailiff's no more. I don't know exactly why, though. Seems he had some quarrel with the bailiff.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
It's my pleasure, especially helping someone from the land of the living again. Actually, wait a mo. Speaking of the living, there's a girl what comes here and grieves over that dead maid. I think her name is Barbara.
And do you know where I could find her?
She said she serves in one of the burgers' houses. So either there or in the morgue with that poor dead girl.
Thanks again, Master Gravedigger. Are you Barbara? I'm told you knew Alice.
Alice? Aye, she was almost like a sister to me. We served together for years, in the same house. Why'd you ask? Who are you?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her. I'm afraid the killer might want to go after my friend as well.
Ah, I understand.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant. He is trying his hand at trading wine.
How did Alice get along with your master?
Fine. Just like with everyone. Our master is a bit strict, but he's fair.
What's his name? Can I speak to him?
Why? But you can't see him anyway. He's on a trade trip to Prague.
It occurred to me that maybe he could have done it.
He couldn't. He was gone when it happened. He hadn't been home in several weeks. And besides, why would he kill them others too? He never even knew them.
I heard about that. And also about Lumiere.
Well, if you're interested, go and see him. Maybe you'll catch him sober enough to talk sense.
Do you know of any suitors she might have had?
I know she was seeing someone. Why?
I'd like to talk to him as well.
But I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich and dressed nicely. But she promised him she'd never tell anyone his name.
And you never saw him?
No, never. I don't even know where she met with him.
Do you know what exactly happened to Alice?
No. Nobody saw or heard nothing. One day, she just didn't come home. And then they found her. Like this.
What do you mean, like this?
You haven't seen her yet, have you?
I haven't.
Then don't. It's a horrible thing to see. She was such a pretty girl. She had such beautiful brown hair. And it didn't even leave that untouched.
What do you mean?
Who could have cut off her hair like that? And why? None of it makes sense.
So, I'll leave you to mourn in peace now. So, let's see what we have here. My God! Someone really did a number on her. Oh, they ripped open her entire belly. And they didn't stop there. There must have been buckets of blood. Jesus Christ. There's hardly any blood left in her. The place I found her must look like a slaughterhouse. I should go there and take a look. Her lips are bloody, but nothing more. Tongue still in place. But if he killed her for blabbing, I reckon he'd have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? These are more like chops than cuts. Somebody must have taken a sword to her. Knife wounds would be smaller, and an axe would have made a bigger mess. But it couldn't have been a long sword. That would have been clumsy. It was something shorter and nimbler. God, that madman cut off both her breasts and bits of flesh. But what did he do with it all afterwards? Did he really keep all the pieces? Nobody could be that sick, could they? Her face is a little bruised and cut, but nobody cut her there. But she has a dark ring around her neck. Was she strangled? The murderer must have had pretty strong hands, and her hair is all matted with blood and hacked off. I don't even know what colour it was. Maybe there's something more to it. What if the murderer kept her hair like some kind of sick trophy? Just some scratches and bruises, that's all. The killer probably surprised her. She didn't even have time to defend herself.
Why you?
So, the murderer must have awfully strong hands, because he strangled her and left a dark ring around her neck. Then he took a short sword or saber and started hacking at her. She's missing parts of her torso, but they aren't by the body. He also cut off most of her hair. He cut off her breasts, but left her tongue, then left her lying there for all to see. To send a message, maybe? Or a warning? Only if it was a warning for telltales, he would have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? I don't know why he killed her, but I don't think it's because of Catherine.
At your service, sir.
Lumiere?
Oh. Christ, my head. Not so loud.
I need to ask you something.
I said not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
That's some hangover. He's useless to me like this. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some kind of cure or potion. This should sober him up. No. Nothing like a little hair of the dog that bit you. Maybe he'll sober up by himself.
Oh. It hurts.
Apparently, the city council is organizing another collection for repairs to the fortifications.
Are they on their bloody minds? They had two collections just like already. I'll tell you, no fucking good at all.
My respects.
Money. For the 100, you're gonna yell at each other. Do it somewhere else.
Why did you do that? Fake bread today.
Aye, of course.
Hey! Stop fighting!
Useless. Filthy vermin.
Did you hear? That dirt stallion is shagging Naz's old woman. They say she's mad. But the old man just isn't up to it anymore. He wanted her to stop pestering him, so he made a deal with Dirk Stallion.
This is the place. There's a lot of blood and some footprints. But I'm not sure how much more I'll be able to find. Christ, that's a lot of blood. But after seeing what they did to the girl, I'm not surprised. I'm not sure I'll be able to find any remains. I wonder what happened to them. I can't make anything out of this. The whole town's been walking around here. There could have been one killer or a dozen. I'm surprised I haven't completely trampled out the blood. It's hard to make out, but I think I see some slashing from a blade. So, there's still a lot of blood left, but I expected even more. I found some faint blade marks. Either the others were trampled out, or someone skilled was wielding it. It didn't look to me like any remains were left lying around. I've no idea what he did with them. Did he keep them or throw them away?
You're always welcome here. How are your knees? Feeling better?
Oh, yes. That ointment of yours is a gift from heaven. Now they only ache when they get...
That's handy, isn't it? At least you know when
Lumir, do you hear me? Oh, he's still completely wasted. Ah, nothing like a little hair of the dog that bit you.
More booze. Christ. I'm gonna puke.
Drink up. It'll make you feel better.
Better already. Wait! What? Who... What are you doing here? Who are you?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl. And I was sent to you.
To me? What for?
Are you Lumir from the Rat House? The scribe?
I used to be. Now I'm just Lumir the Madman.
They say that about you. Why?
Because I was just on some wild goose chase. And what came of it? Absolutely nothing.
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You can't help that girl anymore, anyway. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumir.
Poor girls. Nobody was all that interested in it, except for me. We let it be in the end. We let a monster walk among us. No way. You can't solve this yourself.
I'm not doing it for myself. I'm afraid he might kill one of my friends.
A friend, eh? That's not good. Not good at all. I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? Just mockery. What makes you think you can find out more than I did?
Because I know people, and can easily convince them. In the end, they spill their guts.
Is that so? What about me? Do you think I'll spill my guts too?
A moment ago you were moaning in pain, and now you're deliberating whether or not to tell me what you know.
All right. Talk to me. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She worked as a maid.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was a maid too. As were most of the other victims. What did she look like? What did he do to her?
I think that he strangled her first, and then went at her with a longer blade and disemboweled her.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while. Maybe you really will track him down.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled and then mutilated. If it's not all the same person, they must be collaborating somehow.
This is the 6th one. How long has he been killing?
Probably about a year now. Sometimes it takes him months, sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls. Stanya and Zdena.
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background, no. I couldn't find much.
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor and nobody will miss them?
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord, no stone would be left unturned.
But why does he even kill in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going in circles and can't get out.
What can you tell me about Yarka?
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, people started taking an interest. She was a maid in a German family. By all accounts, she was a pious, polite girl. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the Church of St. Peter and Paul, Father Prokop, raised her. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut all the way from her neck downwards. An awful sight to behold.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. A murderer is usually someone close, you know. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the 2 girls before her who ended up almost the same. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, he seemed he wasn't the least bit interested in Yarka. Then his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of the night. That really surprised me, because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation.
but who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse wench in a tavern of ill repute called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out of town.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Only there was a lot of blood. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own, and the people there aren't very forthcoming with information.
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but thievery and deceit in their eyes. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him. But he isn't all that chatty either.
So if I want to learn anything more, I have to ask this mole in the hole?
Yeah, he still runs the place.
And what about that Zdena? You said her body was never found.
Exactly. But to tell the truth, nobody spent much time looking for it. Besides Alice, Zdena was the most recent victim. It's only been a few weeks since she went missing, but I suppose nobody wanted to do any more digging.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Maybe the prettiest of them all. Young, beautiful. A real live one. Lively as the devil. She was a thief. A pickpocket. I never could pin it on her, though. She always found some way to get out of it.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Strunad. Quite a number. He's always sitting in the hole, boozing. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth a try. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory. That would be a great help.
And what about the other two victims?
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. The first one worked as a bathhouse maid. They called her Chestnut. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really knew her. So I couldn't find out anything more. But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She was a maidservant, too. I also talked to her mother. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling around her, but she refused them all. She knew she was pretty and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean she wanted someone higher up?
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found out who she had her eye on.
Interesting. I'll try to see what else I can find out from the mother. Where can I find her?
In the graveyard, lad. The poor woman died of grief. It's sad to say, but we can't help those two dead girls now. And they can't help us with our investigation either. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about them.
Why were you looking into it? Who were those dead girls to you?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many long years I was a scribe for Kuttenberg's bailiff. Kuttenberg is a big city with a lot of people. Silver, silver, silver. Mining it, smelting it, stealing it. There's always something going on. The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades, from one rich man to another, settling their quarrels. Often trivial nonsense.
But there are more than just rich burghers and lords in the city.
Exactly. There are common folk, too. There's a lot more of them, and their troubles are usually more serious. So when one of them came to the bailiff's one time, and the bailiff was running around somewhere, I started to deal with it myself. I was pretty good at it, too.
Behind the bailiff's back?
Not really. Andreas supported my activities until recently.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Sorry.
Did you have any suspects back then?
You can always find some suspect. I always dragged the most suspicious ones to the body in the morgue by force. And they threw up at the sight. Or fainted.
Couldn't it have just been an act?
Fainting? Vomiting? That's hard to act. I'd swear none of them did it.
Can you sum it all up for me?
We have 6 victims here. And I believe they were all murdered by the same killer. Unfortunately, we only know a little about the last 4, the most recent ones. By now, we won't learn anything about the first 2. Of the remaining 4, the first to be killed was the maidservant, Yarka. She was raised by Father Prokop from the Church of St. Peter and Paul. He should know the most about her. The next were Stanya and Zdena. Their bodies weren't found, but we assume they also became victims of the same murderer. They both hung around a tavern they called the Hole in the Wall. Stanya was an alehouse maid, and Zdena a pickpocket. And the last victim is Alice now, also a maid. What they all have in common is that they were young, beautiful, and brunette.
Good. I know everything I need to know.
When you learn something more, stop by and see me. You've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad. I hope you won't disappoint me.
I'm sorry.
Good day to you. Same to you.
Whoever the guild are, they got.
Good day to you. What brings you here?
Father, I need to ask you a few questions.
I don't have time for theological discussions, my son.
That's not why I'm here. My name's Henry, and I wanted to ask about the murder that happened recently. Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant and left her body lying by the city walls. And I hear it's not the first time this has happened.
Another one murdered. May the Lord grant her eternal rest. Why is it you ask?
Somebody is murdering maids here. We have to put an end to it.
Yes, but those poor souls are already at God's side, and revenge never...
I don't want revenge. I want to stop more killing. That's a better reason, isn't it?
True enough. What do you need to know?
One of the other victims was a girl named Yarka. But I reckon you know that, don't you? What can you tell me about her?
About Yarka? She was an ordinary girl. She served the von Groll family.
Who do you think killed her?
William, that pig of Satan. He gambles in the tavern on All Saints' Day and leads the locals astray. Yarka always went there to listen to music.
Why do you think it was William? Do you have any evidence?
Evidence? He's a skirt chaser, a tool of Satan. He messes with poor girls' heads.
And does anyone else come to mind? No other man spoke with her?
No, absolutely not.
Why don't you respect Lumiere?
That's my business. You needn't concern yourself about that. I won't tell you anything.
Come now, Father. I'm not just asking out of curiosity. This is about all the dead girls. Isn't it written in Scripture, speak up for those who have no voice?
A layman quotes the Bible to me. Fine. Lumiere accused me of her murder.
What?
Yes. He slandered me in public.
And how... What happened then?
It turned out he was deranged. How could he even think such a thing? He's finished in Kuttenberg.
Where did you know Yarka from?
I knew her since she was a little girl. Knew her family.
And?
I was her uncle. When my brother and his wife died, I took care of her.
You raised her? A priest with a child?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the first of the clergy to have a child on the side. But at least everyone knew Yarka wasn't my own daughter.
No offense, but how did you know what to do? without a wife, without a family. I would have been lost.
I was a bit, When she was smaller, it was fine, but when she grew up a bit, maybe I was too hard on her.
How does that even work? Did you have her with you at the presbytery?
When she was small, I could. But when she grew up, she had to go. It wouldn't look right.
Why do you think you were too hard on her?
Yarko was an orphan, with no family and no possessions. Her only chance of a good life was a good upbringing. And then, a husband. But the more I led her in that direction, the more she resisted me.
How did she rebel against you?
She wouldn't listen. She ran away. She ran around with all sorts. And how did it turn out? She died. And in sin. Such a disgrace.
You're well off, though. Couldn't you provide for her?
I couldn't. Even if she had been my very own. More so, since she was my brother's.
But how come?
The church's property always remains the church's. They keep a close eye on that.
I've heard enough, Father. I'll be going.
Son, I'll give you some good advice. Don't listen to Lumiere. That man has gone completely mad.
Spare a groschen.
God bless you, sir.
Innkeeper, a beer!
Where's that beer?
All right.
What do you need, sir?
Did Estanya work here?
Stanya? Maybe. It depends on who's asking.
My name's Henry.
Names don't interest me. The main thing is whether it's a good guest or a bad guest asking. What kind of guest are you, Henry?
I'm a good guest.
Really? Let's see. Do you know how to recognize a good guest?
By the fact he spends a lot of coin?
Aye. I like talking to them kind of guests. A lot. So, what'll it be, my good man?
What if I simply paid you, and you tell me what I want to know?
Ask away.
I want to know if Stanya worked here.
She did. And she don't know more. What's it to you?
I heard she disappeared without a trace. So I'm trying to find out if anyone had anything to do with it.
It's possible. The chamber she was sleeping in here was totally ransacked. The door open. Everything emptied out. And Stanya was gone. All I found were bloody footprints.
Tell me something else.
First, you'll have another beer. Or is it time to pay?
What?
If you want to ask, you have to drink. Didn't you get that?
You're quite the extortionist.
I prefer to be called an enterprising man of trade. So, what'll it be?
I don't want to pay you any more. I think you could answer my questions directly and not always try to wheedle money out of me. That makes it look like you might have some motive for keeping me from finding out anything about that murder.
Nonsense. How could you think that? Come on. Ask me anything you want.
Did anybody see what actually happened when Stanya disappeared?
No, it was at night. Nobody saw or heard anything. The tavern tends to be empty at that hour. And you won't meet many people on the street, neither.
What was Stanya like? What can you tell me about her?
A bold woman. One has to be here. Everyone's ballsy here unless you nip it in the bud right away. She was hanging around a bard for a while. I don't know how close they were, but she also had another suitor.
Someone from the city?
No, a charcoal burner. I heard he was from somewhere in the, Verchlitz Valley. I think his name was Barton?
What do you know about that bard?
What about him? He's a minstrel, a skirt chaser. What more can I say? He called himself William. As far as I know, he plays in the Miners' Tavern in the evenings. But sometimes he shows up here, too.
You think he might have been the one who...
Now that you mention it, he cleared out of town for a while and only came back not long ago. It could be him, all right. I know he met with some odd people and talked about God knows what, like bloody spies. Besides, you know what minstrels are like. Lasses just flock to them. And like they say, opportunity makes the thief.
Or in this case, a murderer. Apart from those men, did anyone else know Stanya? I mean, more intimately.
Well, I got bad news for you. She had two close friends, but you won't get much out of either of them.
Why?
One was hit by a cart, even before Stanya disappeared. And she died. And the other one got married and moved away.
How did Stanya's room look?
The door was wide open. Most of her things were gone, but some remained. And there was blood all over the place.
Blood? Was there a lot?
Not so much, really. More like hand or footprints. But they were near everywhere. If someone done her in, they definitely didn't do it in that chamber.
Where can I find this Barton?
I already told you. In the Verchlitz Valley.
Could you be a bit more precise?
I don't know that bloke at all. All I know is he's a charcoal burner. So if I was you, I'd look somewhere around the charcoal kilns.
That's all I need to know. Are you Sternad? The one that went with Zdenna?
Who the fuck are you?
Just an ordinary bloke who has some questions.
Well then, piss off. You won't get any answers here. All you're gonna get here is a kick in the teeth.
Why so rash? That kind of attitude will do you no favors. Let's make a deal. You tell me everything you know about Zdenna, and I'll make sure you're no worse for wear.
Ah. You're the lord what that whore robbed. Don't worry about it. She weren't nothing but a lying bitch.
So, if I understand correctly, we can make a deal?
For the right price, I'll tell you all I know.
Is this the right price?
You fucking bet it is. Ask away and I'll tell you everything.
Where can I find Zdenna?
Aye. That's what I like to fucking know too. Last time I saw her... Well, that'd be back when she managed to fleece you.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to find her.
I can well imagine. Well, she went to Ravstein Mill. It's quite a long ways away. She had some unfinished business with some bloke called Pint. Ain't nobody seen her since then.
Did she have any friends or lovers who'd know more? Did anybody come here to see her?
Who come to see that bitch? She was always off somewhere, seeing someone. Although, once...
Someone came to see her?
Well, aye. Some stuffed frog came here once, all old and decrepit. He said he had some job for her, that she should leave behind her sinful life and all that shit. But he left empty-handed. She told him to go to hell.
Do you know who that priest was?
Some fucking Prokop or Pravoslav or some such shit. But that reminds me, I saw her a couple of times with another bastard. That fucking bard, William.
And could she have run away with this bard, William?
With that lily-livered fop? Well, he ain't been seen in town for some time, but I think someone was out to get him. He still don't come here no more. He plucks that loot of his in the miners' tavern. The wee shit.
What do you know about this priest?
Not much. Seems they knew each other from before, and he had some job for her somewhere, serving as a maid or something. But she weren't stupid. She told him to fuck right off.
And did he go?
Aye, indeed. He didn't look like the kind of fella that would knock some sense into a woman. I think he just told her if she changed her mind to come and see him, or some shit like that.
And could she have changed her mind and gone to him? And that's why nobody's seen her?
No, no. She took off. I'm sure about that.
What can you tell me about Zdena?
What do you want to hear? I try to keep her out of trouble, but there's just no helping some women.
So you were taking care of her?
Well, just in front of the others. Other than that, she did what she wanted. Always made her mind up and did things her own way.
So you weren't too fond of her?
Not really, no. But she did have a knack for making coin.
I've heard enough.
So...
Greetings, sir.
Good day.
Guten Tag.
I'll be right there.
It's William, right? I need to talk to you.
What is it? Do we know each other? Do I owe you money?
My name's Henry. And no, we don't know each other, and you don't owe me money. But we do have something in common. We have a lot of mutual friends.
What? What do you want of me? I don't have to talk to you.
You don't need to. I can go and chat with the guards instead. Tell them you're the one hurting those girls.
What? I don't have anything to do with any girls.
Really? You? A notorious skirt chaser? Do you think anyone will believe you?
I just got back to the city. I don't know what you're trying to pin on me, but whatever it is, I didn't do it.
But everyone remembers you. You better spit it out before someone points the finger at you.
Come on. All right, then. Ask away.
Did you know Alice?
I know a lot of Alices. You have to be more specific.
The one they found dead somewhere below the town walls.
Oh, her. I didn't know her, but I heard about it.
I heard she used to go to dances.
Yeah, and? I'm not the only musician in the city. I really didn't know her.
They say she had a rich young suitor. Do you know anything about that?
Me? Do I look rich to you? I get paid in food.
But you could at least pass yourself off as wealthy.
Or I could claim to be the Virgin Mary, but I doubt anyone would believe me.
And I hear you knew Stanya.
Which one do you mean?
The alehouse wench from the hole. I heard you had something with her too.
Well, she batted her eyes at me a couple of times when I was still playing there. A nice girl, but I didn't know her much.
And the innkeeper Mole told me a different story. He said you were the one coming on to her.
Fine, we had a bit of fun together. But she was always the one who started it.
And aren't you just saying that because she left you?
Oh, come on! I could have any woman, if I wanted. The innkeeper must have got it mixed up. He's an old drunkard after all. If I was you, I wouldn't take him too seriously.
Do you remember Zdena? You knew her, didn't you?
Do I know Zdena? As wild as the wind and always full of life. And those nimble fingers. You always had to check your purse around her.
Did she steal something from you?
A traveling minstrel doesn't have much to steal, but she was well aware of that. She was on the lookout for some better prey.
You don't happen to know who she wanted to rob?
There were lots. Anyone she thought was rich enough who let her ply her charms for a while. Like young von Groller. When he started coming here, she got to him right away. Said she was going to rob him blind. As far as I know, she didn't succeed. If she robbed a noble like von Groller, word would get around.
And did you ever meet Yarka? It was a long time ago, but I heard she used to hang around you a lot. And Father Prokop didn't like it.
Oh, that one. Aye, she was very keen on my company for a while, but then she stopped coming.
Because somebody killed her?
I know what happened was a tragedy, but it wasn't my fault. She stopped talking to me long before that. Honest.
And can you tell me anything else about it?
I don't know anything. It was a long time ago. You said so yourself. Look, why are you asking me about all this? You don't seriously think I killed her, do you?
Well, you did know them all.
And? I'm surely not the only one.
That may be true. But everybody knows you're a skirt chaser, and they were all pretty girls. And now, they're dead.
But I had nothing to do with it!
So you didn't do anything to them?
No! Why would I? What would I get out of it? It doesn't make any sense. It goes against God.
You dare invoke God?
I admit, I'm no saint, but for Christ's sake, I'd never kill anybody.
Good. I believe you. But if any clue leads me back here to you, I won't give you a second chance.
You won't hear about me again, I swear to God.
God be with you, my friend. God be with you.
Go! Ka! Quick! Quick! Ka! Ka! Go! Go! Quick! I'm looking for someone named Stanya.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella. What would a woman be doing here?
But you know Stanya, don't you?
Aye. You could say that. Why?
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town. And I heard that someone also tried to kill this Stanya.
That's true. She told me something like that. But that was a long time ago.
So you don't know what became of her?
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know, how can I be sure you aren't that killer?
Lumir himself, the Kuttenberg bailiff's former scribe, gave me the task. He was looking into her disappearance, and he sent me to find her.
Well, I don't know. I remember Lumir. He was alright. That's all true, but...
But what? What are you still brooding over?
You seem like the right man for a job like that. Sorry, but after all that happened to Stanya, I like to be careful.
So Stanya is here?
Aye. She's hiding with us. Since that thing happened, she's afraid to even go outside. I don't know what to do with her anymore.
Can I speak to her?
If it'll help you. She's hiding in that cottage, but be nice to her. She's in a bad way. She used to be such a gutsy girl. Till we meet again.
Who are you? How did you find me? If you came here to finish what you started, I'm not afraid of you. I'll claw your eyes out.
Don't be afraid. Barton told me where to find you.
Barton sent you to me. What do you want from me?
Lumir thought you were dead. I was supposed to find out what happened to you.
Lumir? From the rat house. He sent you.
Exactly. Someone killed a girl in Kuttenberg. Lumir thought it might be connected with you, so maybe you could help us find out who did it.
How can I help you when I haven't been in Kuttenberg since... I don't even know when.
You disappeared from the hole in the wall without saying goodbye. Without a word. What happened?
Someone attacked me when I was coming home from the baths one night. I managed to get away, but I was so afraid, I decided to run away from Kuttenberg.
Did you see who it was?
Not at all. I didn't see anything until he jumped out of the shadows and grabbed me around the neck. And he was terribly strong. I nearly blacked out right away.
And how did you manage to break free?
I had an empty pitcher in my hand, and I hit him with it. He howled and let me go, and I ran away.
Here? To the charcoal burners?
No, first to my room in the hole. But I was so scared there. I took what I could and ran. Here, to Barton.
And your lover? What did he say?
At first he was horrified, because I had cut myself on a shard from the pitcher and was all bloody. He's been hiding me here since then.
You walked home from the baths at night?
What's so odd about that?
Well, at night, the baths are...
Ah, right. I went there after closing. I always brought the girls a pitcher of wine or ale and took a bath while they drank it.
Aha. So that's why you had the empty pitcher you hit him with?
Right. I went there regularly. Every week.
The same way every time?
Aye, always the same way. The shortest one. I didn't want to stay out too long at night.
And who knew that you went by yourself to the baths?
Well, everyone from the tavern, I reckon. I didn't hide it.
Do you remember anything important about the attacker? What he looked like? What he was wearing?
I don't know anything. It was at night. He grabbed me from behind, and then I ran and never turned back.
And what about when you hit him? What did he do?
He let me go and cursed.
Aha. And what did he say?
He said Scheisse in German.
Seems you're the only one to survive the killer's attack. I know it isn't easy for you to think about it, but try to remember something else about that moment, or when you were running away. Anything can help us, even if it seems insignificant.
I don't know. It's all like in a fog.
You were walking down the street. Did you notice anything before he attacked you?
No, nothing.
You didn't see anything or hear anything?
Actually, I knew the side street wasn't empty. I heard somebody talking, but when I looked, there was nobody there.
So when somebody grabbed me, I completely froze.
Did you understand what they were talking about?
Not at all. But there were two voices. Two of them waiting for me there.
It's difficult, I understand. But I need you to think hard one more time. Aside from those voices and the empty street, what else do you remember?
I didn't hear him at all. And then he grabbed me.
And nothing else? Did he grab your hair?
Well, no. He grabbed me by the throat right away and squeezed. Just for a moment. But I still had a big bruise round my neck for weeks. Barton said the man must have had a terribly strong grip. Like a miner or swordsman.
How are you now?
I'm still awful scared. I can't fall asleep knowing that, and I can't even really leave the house.
I heard William liked pretending to be a spy. Do you know anything about that?
Aye, I thought it pretty silly. A stupid trick to make himself seem more interesting. Though I reckon he's more likely to attract an ass-kicking than a woman.
I reckon that'll be all.
I'm sorry I'm not able to help you more.
You don't need to apologise.
Thank you. Could I ask you for a favour?
If it's in my power.
When you catch that bastard, would you please let me know? So I can finally stop being afraid.
I'll stop by if I can.
See you soon, my friend.
Quick! Go! Ja! Ja! Go! Go! Go!
Lord be with you.
Are you Pint?
I am. Why?
I'm looking for his Denner.
I don't know any Stenner.
Sternad said something different.
You're a friend of Sternard's, are you?
God forbid. That's all I need. A friend like that bastard. But he was the only one who really knew Denner.
You're right there. Stenner was always cursing him. He was as lazy as a pig, but always wanted his share.
So you knew Denner? Can you tell me anything about her?
I know Stenner all right, but she ain't been here in some time. Why are you looking for her? What do you want from her?
I'm looking for a... Back in the city, they think she's either dead or run off somewhere. And you're the last person to see her before she went missing.
Kurva.
What can you tell me about Zdenna?
She always had it hard. She lost her parents and her home as a child. She had to learn to take care of herself.
And what about Sternad? How does he fit into this?
Sternard was her guardian angel, as she used to say. If she hadn't been thieving with him, she probably would have ended up a whore. But by sharing with him, she could do what she wanted.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised she stuck with him as long as she did.
That's because she had a hideout somewhere nearby. That's why she'd come to me with her loot, before they taxed her on the spot. And the last time she was here, she said one more haul like this, and she'll be able to go wherever she wanted. To Prague or Vienna.
I heard she wanted to sell you some valuables. Is that true?
Oh, aye. She had a good haul. No rubbish. Mostly jewelry, rings, one signet ring with a coat of arms and everything.
She left it all here. I paid her a pretty sum of coin. It was a good thing she had a basket with her. Otherwise, she couldn't have carried it all.
And what about that signet ring? Do you still have it?
She didn't sell me the ring. She wanted to keep it. Said it'd bring her luck someday.
Do you know what kind of luck she meant? Did you recognize the signet on the ring?
No. I didn't recognize that signet. But all the while, Dana was giggling to herself. I reckon she had her eye on another mark.
Where did she go next from here? You said she had a lot of coin on her.
That she did. She also had a feeling someone was following her. Someone on a horse.
Someone followed her on a horse from Kuttenberg. Did she say what he looked like?
She didn't. At first, she thought it was some wealthy lord out for a ride. But he held back. Never passed by her and...
And did you see him? Did he come all the way here?
No. But Zdenna thought he would show. She even left her scarf here and paid some girl to walk around with it to make it look like she was still here.
And then where'd she go?
She wanted to go the back way, through the woods, so nobody could follow her. Past the woods is a road and a ford across a stream. Next to it is a huge boulder. When it rains, the water can rise fast. The road goes on to Kuttenberg.
Well, if it leads back to the road and there was really someone following her, I reckon if they saw she was long in returning, they could have waited for her at the ford, no?
Fuck! That's quite possible. I made a point of looking, but I didn't see any riders that day, so I forgot about it.
Is Denna's scarf? Do you still have it?
Aye. I wanted to give it back to her the next time she came.
Will you give it to me? I'll try having my dog track her down.
All the same to me. Here you go. But it's been a long time. I don't know if it will help.
Well, I'll go and check out that ford. Maybe I'll find something there.
I hope you don't. Take care. Have a good evening.
God be with you.
Come here! Search. Come here! Mats! That has to be that ford Pint was talking about. I should take a look around here. This must be that basket of silver Zdenna was carrying with her.
She wouldn't have just left that here. But where did it come from? Maybe it rolled down the hill? Poor thing. She didn't get very far. Ugh, she's been lying here a long time. At first glance, this body isn't as mutilated as the others. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody strangled her like the others. She's been lying here too long for that, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer hit her with a rock, or dashed her hard against the ground. She must have put up a fight. Or maybe he lost his patience. Oh, she's all stuck to her clothes. Torn up. I don't see any cuts. The rips are odd. Like someone was looking for something. Oh, my God. Oh, something fell out of her. A signet ring. Oh, that must be the one she stole. How did it get inside her? Did she swallow it herself? Or did the murderer shove it in there? Was she trying to hide it? Or was it punishment for stealing? Oh, I can't make much out by now. But it seems as if the fingers on her right hand are broken. Did the murderer torture her? Or was he trying to get something out of her hand? Well, that's enough. But what does it all mean? I'd say she put up a decent fight, and the killer had to improvise. And that's about all I can find out. She's probably been lying here a few weeks. But that ring is a good lead.
Mutt!
I found out some interesting things about those murders. Just like you said.
That's wonderful news. But wait a while. I promised Catherine we'd wait for her.
You know Catherine?
She came to see me soon after you did, and started asking me questions. Just like you.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else shows up. How did it go?
I reckon I've found out all I can.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not exactly, but I have a few ideas.
I've asked around a bit, and I have my own suspicions.
Is that so? See, I was trying to recall some more details, and I had someone come to mind as well.
Oh, I didn't do all this for nothing, did I?
Well,
Well? Who do you suspect now?
Well, I'd say William did it. The minstrel.
You can't be serious. He's innocent.
Uh-huh. And who do you think it was?
Prokop. I'm sure of it.
No. Really? That's impossible. It couldn't have been him.
So I see we disagree. Too bad. We could have been done with it quickly.
Well, who do you think it was then?
I'm not entirely sure. First, I'll tell you what I found out, and then it might be easier for us.
Go on then. Starting with who?
I managed to find Stanya.
Alive? You found her alive?
I did. Alive and well. Hiding with the charcoal burners.
So, she's not one of our victims?
She is. She just managed to escape the killer. She said she was attacked on her way home from the baths. She heard somebody talking in a side street, but it was empty. But when she walked by, someone grabbed her by the throat and started strangling her.
And how did she manage to get away?
She was holding an empty pitcher, and she smashed the killer in the face with it. He either got startled or hurt, but he let her go.
Did she get a look at him? Did she take his eye out or something?
No, she didn't stop to find out. Just ran. Which is probably why she survived.
And what about the blood in the bedroom?
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She didn't stay in her room for long. She was still so scared that she grabbed her things and ran off to her beloved charcoal burner. Stanya mentioned young von Grolle used to visit her. She said he was quite fond of her.
After a few beers, everyone wants to cop a feel. You have to nip it in the bud without upsetting anyone, because it could end badly.
Well, according to Stanya, the murderer had a terribly strong grip. Her neck was bruised for almost a month.
Doesn't almost every man have a strong grip?
Depending on what they take in hand every day. A tankard, a quill, or a hammer.
Except none of our suspects are miners or blacksmiths, eh? According to Stanya, the murderer didn't say a word the entire time.
That's strange, right? I'd expect him to at least call her a whore.
The only word he uttered was when she smashed him in the face with the pitcher. He said Scheisse.
So, we're looking for a German?
Even I say Scheiße sometimes, and I'm not German.
Besides that, she also recalled hearing two voices in the alley. Someone was talking to the killer.
So we have a witness. Now, just to find him.
Or an accomplice. If I remember correctly, the other one must have seen the whole thing, right? And he didn't go to report it.
She said she returned from the baths in the evening regularly, and somebody knew exactly which way she would take and where to wait for her.
You mean someone followed her beforehand to figure out where to ambush her?
Who knew that she went to the baths?
Apparently everyone in the tavern. She didn't hide the fact. She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. He may be a pig, but the evening she ran home, he was in bed snoring. And that's all that Stanya told me.
I'm so glad that girl is alive.
Me too. At least someone's had a little luck. Does she want to come back, or will she stay with the charcoal burners?
I don't think she'll come back. She's so scared now they'll come back for her, she doesn't even leave the house. I managed to find Zdena.
You found her? Is she alive too?
No. Unfortunately, she's dead.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill she used to sell things at. Someone caught her in the forest when she was coming home with a load of coin and killed her. I reckon she put up a hell of a fight. So the killer got nervous and ended things quickly.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate her?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time, so I couldn't really tell. But he definitely didn't hack her up like the others. Zdena tried to rob young von Grolle. It's possible she succeeded.
Von Grolle? Yarka worked for them, didn't she?
Ah, that whole family is suspicious.
Assumptions. Nothing more.
I'd say it's pretty obvious. Why else would I have found that ring on her?
They just left the ring by her body? That's odd, isn't it?
It wasn't by her body. It was inside of it. I don't know if she swallowed it herself or someone shoved it in her.
Ah, that's awful. But I can't say it surprises me.
Judging by what her accomplice said, she robbed someone good. She had so much jewelry on her, she could hardly carry it. And what's odd is when she was murdered, the killer left her basket of valuables behind.
So I reckon he didn't kill her for the money.
She said someone followed her on horseback from Kuttenberg. She tried to lose him, but apparently wasn't able to.
On horseback? I don't suppose she described him, did she?
Only as a wealthy type who never got too close.
That doesn't fit in with the previous murders.
Let's talk about Yarka, the one raised by Father Prokop.
What did you learn about her?
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the goodness of his heart. He was actually her uncle.
Really? But he still could have killed her.
His own relative?
Why not? He's a priest. I'm sure he knows the story of Cain and Abel.
Yarka started working for the von Groller family, where she remained until her death.
I was there to ask whether she'd given them any trouble, but they said she was always thorough and reliable.
So what's the story with von Grolls?
A very wealthy and important family. The mother is quite devout, known to spend a lot of time in prayer. Old von Groller's been sick for years. Can't even get out of bed.
So, who runs affairs?
That would be young Hendel. They say he's quite successful.
That's all I was able to find out.
You still found out more than I did.
But it's not enough. We still don't know who the killer is.
My mouth is starting to hurt from all this blabbering.
So are my ears and head.
Come now, we're nearly there. We just need to find our suspect. So, Henry, who do you think did it?
I suspect one of the von Grollers.
What leads you to think that?
Are you sure it wasn't William?
Zdenna was followed by someone on a horse. Von Groller could afford a horse.
That's not so sure, is it? And maybe the horse was stolen or borrowed.
But it certainly worsens the case for him. That much is true.
Von Groller also groped Stanya, and his servant drove her away.
A fucking bastard.
That's more than coincidence, isn't it? It really must be one of them.
Zdenna robbed von Groller.
That's true.
It's all coming together, isn't it?
Yarka was their maidservant until she started rebelling, right?
Yes. Do you think she was rebelling because of someone in particular?
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
Alice had a young and wealthy suitor. And young von Groller fits both descriptions.
True.
We could be getting somewhere.
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that it was young von Groll?
Well, old von Groller can't do much now, can he?
So do we really agree that our most likely suspect is young von Groller?
Aye. I agree.
I don't have a problem with it. Little rich boys are capable of anything. But what are we gonna do about it? Our suspicions aren't enough.
They'll just laugh at us without something more tangible.
So, you want to search their house?
There's nothing else we can do. There must be a clever way to do it.
We have to find some evidence. None of our conjecture is enough. What will we do?
You could sneak in there.
Or break in.
Catherine, that's not necessary. The young lad wants to learn swordsmanship, and the old one is sick and always calling for a physician.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbones, or a swordsman, or break in? That's a lot of options.
You're a clever lad. You'll figure it out.
Be careful, it isn't safe around here. I apologize.
missing.